UK is for English people. Just come to the UK, make a lot of babies, don't work so you can get the child benefits.
How have you got a right to talk and moan about it?
It's up to you. If you want to fuck this up or you want to make it better, everyone should be eligible to have their own opinion.
Fuck off. Literally, fuck off. You're a leech. Ed, you're a dick. Ed, you're an arsehole. Yes, I am. And I'm proud of it.
You can piss off a lot of people. If you are in Poland, Polish people should be prioritized. If you are in the UK, British people should be prioritized on every single fucking aspect.
Sink the boats, pull them out of the water, take them back to mainland Europe, send them back.
I would counter you on that one.
Why would you stay here when the country's going backwards? It's just my opinion at the end of the day.
Tell me, as a British person, tell me, what the fuck does happen?
Maybe we need our version of a Trump.
What the fuck is going on with the royal family?
I mean, look, the country's fucked as it is, isn't it?
We're living in the world when this becomes acceptable. Perhaps seeing about a 77% decrease in the UK viewers. What the fuck just happened in there? I came to the UK 12 years ago. It's gonna be hard to change. You don't wanna stay in the place that you hate.
No.
So what the fuck we talking about? What the fuck, Jamie Booker?
Yeah, well, look, Jamie Booker is James Booker.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Now I understand. Let's rock and roll.
Ready? How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of the Unwrapped podcast. We've both been pretty excited for this one, actually.
Oh man, it was a while.
It's been a while. I've been out of the country. I've been in Prague. Pete's been busy working in a new job.
Changing my career.
Yeah.
Flip it completely 180.
Yeah, which we'll get onto at some point today as well. And also, speaking of that, any subjects that you guys want us to talk about, by all means, leave a comment below. And, you know, literally anything, whether it's politics, whether it's money, whether it's bodybuilding, whether it's relationships, whatever the case may be, you know, we're happy to talk about it and rip it to shreds and moan about it and so on. I think it's pretty much what we do anyway.
Yeah, but I think before we dive into it, because we got so much to talk about, obviously, if you're gonna leave us any specific topic in the comments, we're gonna touch up on it in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll
As long
touch
as
on
we
it.
can fit it in the timeline.
Yeah, for sure. And also don't forget, if you like what you hear, anything like that, don't be afraid to subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell, etc. Obviously, if you don't like it, don't do that. But hopefully you do.
I think we are obligated to say massive thank you.
Yes.
For such an amazing response to our first episode. None of us actually expected it's going to go so well.
No, I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 watches and that's it. But, you know, well over 1,000 and then lots of subscribes and people sharing it. And, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And a lot of things happened recently in the UK and in our lives.
Yeah.
You've been traveling.
Yeah, I've done a bit of traveling.
British man finally seen some snow.
Yeah, well, proper snow anyway. Yeah, we landed in Prague. It was -7 degrees. It wasn't snowing when we landed, but when we woke up the next day, there was a blanket of snow. And then as we were coming home, a big blanket of snow. So it was cold, but amazing. And what a city. First time I've ever been to Prague, and we had a great time. Like friendly, spotlessly clean, beautiful architecture. Went to the zoo, saw some animals, obviously, because that's what happens in a zoo.
What are animals?
Yeah, it's weird, that, isn't it? Weird.
Really?
Saw polar bears, orangutans. Saw my ex-wife. But yeah, no, it was a great time. Nice to relax. Just hit 25, 30,000 steps every day, so we did a lot of walking, but enjoyed some good food. I ended up losing weight, strangely, but yeah, had a great time. So I want to go back.
What have you seen? That's something extraordinary in a zoo.
Something that I haven't seen. So I saw orangutans, which I've never seen. Obviously, we don't have orangutans in England, but I've never seen them in an English zoo either. And polar bears. I'd always wanted to see one since being a kid. So to see one up close, they are huge.
Are the polar bears don't need a kind of a cold environment to survive?
Well, luckily it was cold, obviously with the snow. But do you know what, to be honest, I don't know. I'm assuming they're in the summer. Maybe their enclosures are cooled or something. I don't know.
All
but,
right. They were there. They possibly weren't happy.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, yeah, I mean, they were. One was laying down, one was pacing back and forwards, but yeah, it was quite cool to see.
Yeah, the bears. Just imagine, like in the US, you can go drive somewhere in the fucking woods.
Yeah.
And there are literally fucking
Yeah.
bears. Obviously not polar bears. I mean, yeah, kind of polar bears some places, I guess. But you can drive into the woods.
Yeah.
And you can hound them and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
they've got
It's
grizzlies
fucking-
and brown bears, and I think I've got a couple of friends from Romania, and there's bears in Romania as well, aren't
Yeah,
there?
that's what I heard as well.
Yeah.
No, we got in Poland, it's fucking pandemic of, how we call them? Wild boars?
Wild boars, yeah.
Yeah, they are fucking everywhere
Yeah, I
now.
saw them in Turkey actually. When we were in Turkey in a few months ago, or a couple of months ago, saying wild boars everywhere.
They are literally walking in the fucking middle of towns.
Yeah.
It's
Mad,
fucking
isn't it?
crazy.
Mad.
Oh man, a lot of changes recently. You know what's funny? Because when I met you and we start talking about our lives, sharing it and all that stuff, we realized that you and me actually going through the same kind of state in life where we decided to change the careers.
Yeah. Pretty big changes as well, to be fair.
Decided to run away
Yeah.
from the shit we hated.
Yeah.
With a bit of a caveat.
Yeah, the caveat was to take almost change that career, take a step back financially, but in order to level up and actually do something we enjoy.
Yes.
And I think that's the big difference. Like obviously you've got like a side job that's covering your bills at the moment, which I hope's going well, by the way. But obviously your main thing is your videography, which is going to be, hopefully will grow and grow and grow. And then obviously I took a step away from a very well-paid, lucrative career in property, where I was earning a good salary. I was at director level, to set up my own business, the supplement shop where we are now. And I've taken a huge step back financially. However, I'm happier than I've ever been. So, my coaching business is growing as a result of that as well, which is phenomenal. And I had a chat with you earlier on. I was listening to the Chris Williamson podcast with Sam Sulek, and Chris Williams said, imagine if you're very successful in a career you're not happy with, imagine how successful you can be in something you love. And I instantly messaged you, didn't I? I was like, Pete, this is blowing my mind, because that's exactly where we are.
I love this quote.
Yeah.
Or this sentence. It just smashed. Like when I heard that, I did hear it before, because obviously I'm constantly listen to the Modern Wisdom podcast, and I did hear that, but it just, sometimes you can hear something and it wouldn't kick you in.
Yeah, it doesn't always resonate, yeah.
You are in different part of your life and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah, now it makes sense, yeah.
In this state of my life where I am now, it is true. And it is true because, like in my example, I left the job, which I've been in for 7 years. I've been really experienced in that. I know most of the stuff. My salary was very close to 100,000 per year, which is very good in regard to the UK.
Yeah.
The UK, the guy who did not didn't speak English at all when came here, and eventually getting to that point, it is very good place to be, but it's not very good place to be if you are really struggling mentally to be there.
Yeah.
Because you sacrifice, at least I did, and I know many people do, because when I was in construction, that was the main topic, how people hate the shit. Not many people enjoy being in construction.
No.
They hate the shit, but the only incentive up there to stay
It's the wage.
is the wage.
Yeah.
It's the money. It's the money, and there is many reasons behind that. Some people just like to buy stupid shit. They like to spend this extra money for stupid shit. Some people just build a life that they cannot go back now. In the wage-wise. They build a life where they bought a fucking massive houses and they have to pay £1,800 per month for a mortgage.
Yeah.
And you cannot go back now and start earning £2,000
You kind of get stuck in that rat race.
Yeah. And you can do nothing. And I'm so happy that I eventually done this move, and then I find out you actually did as well.
Yeah.
Because it's now I can say that because I went through this shit shit position, and I'm finally in the place where I like to be. But it's so hard when you hate this shit and you don't want to get out from the bed every single morning, but you have to go because of the money, because of the bills, and you think that there is no way you can change the career now.
Did you find as well, when obviously you wouldn't work on a Saturday or Sunday, or maybe you would work some Saturdays, but you'd find your mood changing on a Sunday?
Completely.
Like, so even Katie, so what you'll realise, guys, we'll probably both mention Katie. Both our wives are called Kate.
Yes.
So, yeah, so we're not talking about the same person. It's two different. So Katie she'd even notice my mood. I wouldn't get moody and sulky, but I wouldn't be as upbeat per se, knowing that I'm going into a job. Yes, I had a 6-figure salary. You know, I'd built up a career in property that I'd had from when I'd essentially left playing rugby and left school, and then started as an estate agent and built my way up and ended up going into quite high-end block management with high net worth clients and so on. But I hated it from day one. It was kind of an accidental job. But as I progressed up that career ladder, obviously my wage progressed, and it was hard to not earn, to leave when you're earning that sort of money. And I don't live a lavish life. Like, we don't live in a big flash mansion house. You know, we don't drive supercars or anything like that. But you still have a certain lifestyle you want to uphold. You want a nice holiday. You know, you want to go and buy a nice pair of trainers. You want the newest Gymshark clothes for the gym, or although I'm lucky, I've got friends that sort me out with that stuff for free. But that's more of a recent thing. But I never loved it, and I had a job as a PT from a young age, which was my love. And then various things in my life meant at a certain point I had to take a step away from it. But as soon as I came back into it, I realised, that passion is still there, and I'm lucky that is now my career. But
were you in the place or where you realized that the longer you stay in the place you hate, the harder it is to get out?
Oh, for sure.
Because obviously the money, because of what I found out at some point when I decided that I'm going. So for me, my last 2 years of being in the construction, every day I was fighting myself to don't go and just leave the job and just drag. So for 2 years, just imagine that, how mentally tired you are of something like that. And the last day, I just said to myself, I can be here another 2 years, and I'm gonna be exactly same, exactly miserable for the next 2 years. It's gonna be harder to change, because my worries were I'm 35 now, which is obviously not fucking old, but I'm 35. In my CV, the only thing I've got is a construction. That's my experience. That's my knowledge. How can I go somewhere else now? But then I was thinking, if you decide to change in the next 5 years, your CV won't change. It's gonna be just harder and harder, and you start making more money, and he's like, oh, should I just, take this cut now and all that stuff? But guys, what I can tell you for sure is, you don't wanna stay in the place that you hate.
No.
You don't wanna do it. But also, I have to mention, it's gonna be hard to change.
It is hard, and it's never too late to make that change, whether you're 21, 31, 41 like me, 51, whatever the case may be. It is never too late. However, the longer you leave it, the harder it does become, because inevitably you're going to level up in your career to an extent. I mean, you may stay stagnant, I don't know, but then you get more responsibilities, more bills, children, grandchildren, mortgages, and so on. So the sooner you do it, the easier it is in terms of bouncing back. However, I'm lucky that Katie has a good job. So where I fell short, she picked up the pieces. And that was the same before. When she changed her job, when I was earning more, when she felt short, I picked up the pieces. So you need a good support network around you. And I think that's with anything you do in life. But I'm lucky I had that. And, when we were on holiday last year, and I said to her, look, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start my own business. She kind of, like, whoa, like, but luckily it's doing all right. But yeah, it was a shock. But she realised that I had to do that for my own happiness because I was miserable, so.
Yeah, like I heard that recently, that the most changing decision in your life is the decision who you will marry.
Yeah.
And it can go in the both direction. Obviously, it can go in the wrong or
it can
in
hold
the
you
good.
back or push you forward.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
can go either way.
Exactly. No, I think we are one of these lucky guys. I don't know how that happened, but we are in this lucky group which has very supportive wives.
Yeah, and without going into my personal life too much, obviously I've been married previously and divorced, where I perhaps didn't have that same support. I'm not going to go in a bad mouth or on a podcast. That wouldn't be fair to anyone. But obviously I've now gone with Katie. Gone with Katie. That makes it sound really bad. But obviously I found Katie. Katie found me. She took me under her wing essentially, and I don't know what she sees in me. God. But there's obviously something. But yeah, luckily I've got the most supportive partner, and I'm blessed to have that. And I think if you don't have that, you will struggle. And I think that change then becomes harder. So, the moral of the story is if your wife isn't supportive, leave her. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, but yeah, it is very important if you have a supportive spouse.
Yeah.
It's either in the fitness industry, but more even in life. If person who you spend the whole life, the whole days with, is very supportive to your decisions as well. Because for example, like when I decide, like, babe, I'm leaving construction.
Yeah.
I want to do something different. You have to understand that you're going from like £5,000 per month to possibly 1,500 per pound.
Yeah.
And your wife could simply say like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, we got kids.
Yeah, we got
this, we got bills.
Yeah.
You won't be able to pay.
Yeah.
But if you got a very supportive person, you can say, look, babe, we're going to make it.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And that is another realization I went through when I left this job. Most of you guys who possibly think about changing the career, but you are very scared of changing, you will realize that now you might think, I need this 4 or 5 or 6 or 10,000 per month because I can't even save. I make 5,000, I can't save. So that's how my life. That's how expensive my life is. That's it. Yeah. That's how much I pay per month, which is totally bullshit. Because you can cut that in half and you can also survive. Yeah, you might don't eat fucking steak every night, or you might just sometimes take a cut here and there, but you will be completely fine. But the price of it is your well-being.
Yeah, your mental freedom, essentially. It's like, funny enough, I was having a conversation with Katie the other day. Yes, we were just away in Prague, and we were lucky enough to have been to Turkey this year and had a few other weekends away. When I was in property, we wouldn't think twice about, we could have a couple of holidays, we could afford breaks, and I wouldn't even need to really think too much about the money. But she was already discussing next year's holiday, and I was like, look, I don't know at this stage that I can do that yet. So I was saying to her, look, if you want to go away with your friends, family, auntie, whatever, and I will stay and work, because these are sort of sacrifices I need to make in order to make this business grow. However, I don't mind making those sacrifices because I now love what I do.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So yes, there will be sacrifices that need to be made. Like, I can't just go into a shop now, and before I would go into a designer shop and I might buy a pair of Prada trainers or something like that and not think twice about it. Now I'm questioning whether or not I can even afford Primark trainers. But that's fine because I know that's the short term. Each month is getting better and better. So it's only going to.
Very important question to you. Would you say this decision was worth?
100%. Same, and I'll put that same one to you.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah.
Now I got a job which it's good enough to go there. I'm not getting pissed off. I'm just crack on with my stuff. But after work, after this 8 hours or 9 hours, I'm doing what I love. And this
Yeah.
is the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, if you can do on a daily basis what you love, and you can find time for it, man, you are sorted.
You're living the dream, yeah. Like, yes, it's nice to have a big salary, and this is why most people go to work. But I learned a long time ago, money doesn't buy you happiness.
No.
You know, it buys you maybe a level of comfort, a level of freedom to an extent. And I know people who say, yeah, but I'd rather be miserable in a Ferrari. You know, all these silly sayings. But you wouldn't be. Just, you know, I've never owned a Ferrari, but I've driven all these flash cars and had them, and I didn't feel any different in them to what I do now. I mean, I drive an Audi. It's not a shit car, but like, I don't feel any different driving that to when I drove a Rolls Royce.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? Like, that money doesn't buy you any extra happiness. So don't think that by taking that cut, you're going to be miserable. Because if you're miserable in your job with money, you're better off to have less money and be happy in your job. Because that's 80% of your life is at work. Let's be honest. So,
you know what? I was thinking about that a lot recently. And I think that people going through like 3 stages in life, at least you can agree or disagree with me on that. I think people going through 3 stages in life. The first stage is when you're just getting, you're 18 years old, you have to find for the job, you find a first job, you want to pay your bills, right? Yeah. That's the first stage. The second stage is where you get in this experience and you start making more money, and you think you are sorted, and then you just start chasing this money, more money, you're getting better jobs. But I think at that point, you have to make a very important decision. What is more important for you? Money. I'm not saying everyone is miserable at work, because some people just chasing career and they are fucking happy.
Yeah.
But I would say 80% of people hate what they do. So then you have to make a decision. I will keep chasing money, because one day I might make a lot of money, and I don't give a fuck if I'm miserable, but I will have money. Another way you can go is a third option, third stage, let's say, where you realize, you know what? It's not all about money. I can make less money now and start chasing what I love.
yeah.
So maybe one day I can make money out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's like these 3 stages. I was thinking about that recently, and I'm just curious what do you think about it? Do you agree or disagree, or you want to add up something?
No, I agree, and I think, but obviously the caveat to that is those decisions and changes that we make come with a level of life experience and a level of wisdom. And I think as you get older, you realise a lot more things. Like when I was young, I was stupid, you know, getting into trouble, spending money on stupid things like going out with mates into London and, you know, booking tables in exclusive clubs and spending thousands of pounds on a night out. Like, it was ridiculous. Now, I couldn't think of anything worse than doing that. So my whole thing, all I do is chase. The most important thing to me is happiness and health. Hence why most of my time when I'm not working is in the gym or with my partner, with my daughters, because that's the 3 places I'm most happy. And luckily my job ties in with all of those things now. So, you know, I don't have miserable days. I don't wake up dread. I'm tired because I'm working long hours to build my business, but I'm not unhappy. I'm not miserable, and I'll work 24 hours in a day if I need to because I love it. Yeah. And then therefore, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, as they say. So,
as we said recently, if you do what you love, you still work, but the tools in your hands are way lighter.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
It is a good saying.
This really just stuck in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the long story short is there is possibility to change your career, and it's never too late, and you should prioritize your well-being over money.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
Not to say money isn't important. It is very important because you have to pay your bills and stuff, but well-being is more important than the money.
Yeah, and I think coming away from that, kind of going on to the next subject, but kind of transitioning in, I think as well, a lot of decisions you make as an adult will loop all the way back to your childhood. And and how your childhood shaped you, because that will affect your mental state, I think. You know, different people react differently as adults due to how they were. So if you were raised in a certain way to work hard and earn hard, you will always do well eventually, no matter what you do, whether it's something you hate or something you love. You know, and I think those sort of people may then take more risks, like you and I, to potentially create your own businesses and do things. I'm naturally a risk taker. Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Let's try something else. You know, I don't lose, I learn, kind of thing. But I think there are some children that are maybe born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or a bit spoiled, have things handed to them, and they're the very same people who I think don't work as hard and don't have as much ambition because they expect things to be handed to them. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of loops back.
You know what? I last year when I been back in my country, you know, when you were in a school, let's say you've been like 15, 16,
Yeah.
there were groups of people, and it's everywhere. Like, you had a group of this, let's say, rich kids. You had the group of these nerds. You have the group of these guys. And you know what I realized? All these people who I tried to hang out with, because they were rich, they were popular, they were all that kind of stuff what every kids want when he's young, I realized 90% of these people are, not to say in the worst position than I am now, but because they never been taught to work hard, because they didn't have to work hard, they didn't have to push the limits. Now I see them fucking doing shit jobs, and I don't know. I think like I'm not sure how your childhood were, but I feel like I've been blessed that we didn't have money.
No, we didn't.
Because I've been fucking taught that you have to work hard for anything you want. And I think that's why, mate, I came to the UK 12 years ago without any English language. Came here without fucking knowing where I'm gonna work, where I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah.
And you know, like, that's brave as fuck for everyone who done it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's only because what happened in my childhood.
And I think, well, funny enough, that brings me to a question, because I've got a question that came through on my Instagram. So I put up a poll asking people to ask some questions, like we did to ask in the comments below. So, what is a defining childhood moment that still influences the way you show up today?
You want to start with it?
No, I'll let you go first. I think it's a great question.
I think I kind of answered it already, because obviously there were a specific moment. I think there was the whole childhood, how we've been raised.
Yeah.
In my house, in my family, we've been raised that we always been taught you have to work hard, you cannot give up, you have to push your limits, and that is the only way you can finally achieve something in your life.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's why, man, I realized, because I've been traveling in workplaces a lot recently, I've been fucking changing jobs a lot, and I realized some people are made to be employees.
Yeah.
And some people can't fucking stand it.
Yeah.
Like you and I.
Yeah, I got to a point where I was almost unmanageable.
Yeah.
And I had to do something for myself, because this might sound cocky and arrogant, but I built myself up so far in the career where I was getting to a point where I was telling directors what to do, you know, CEOs and things, because I knew more than them. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. I just built up experience over years. So it gets to points where they'd ask me to do something and I'd go, but that's wrong. That's not right, and start questioning it. So it wasn't right. And I think...
What made you this way? Which childhood moment?
I had a few. Like, so my mum and dad got divorced when I was 2. Lucky that they still remain very good friends, so I still had my mum and dad in my life. But we didn't, same as you, we didn't grow up with much money. You know, my mum originally, before I was born, was in the army. So we grew up in a lot of discipline in the house. And then she had her own career in childcare. My dad, unfortunately, wasn't very well. So he couldn't work very often. And then we lost my dad when I was 13. So that made me grow up and become a man very quickly. Although I did have a stepdad, when I was young, we clashed a lot. We get on fine now, but, you know, I was a typical hormonal teenager. You're not my dad, you know, that kind of thing. and especially at that age because I'd lost my dad. You know, and my dad was my hero. He still is my hero. You know, he did everything he could to provide for us, the same as my mum. But what I saw was you had to work hard to have it. And, you know, prime example, in the summer holidays in school, with my friends wanting to go to a theme park or to the cinema or a day into London or whatever the case may be, and I'd go to my mum, can I have some money to do that? She'd say, you can, but you need to earn it. So there'd be a job, you know, she'd get me to paint the shed or paint the fence or do something. So from a young age, it was installed in me, if you want something, you have to work hard for it. And then I got a job with a couple of friends working in a local garden centre at Christmas time, literally just trimming up the bases of Christmas trees and putting them in nets. And we grafted, but we learned if we worked that bit harder than the other people and then also offered to customers, we'll carry your tree to the car for you, people started giving us tips. So we were earning a bit extra on top of our wages. So we learned to hustle a little bit.
This entrepreneurial...
Yeah, so it started at a young age. And then, you know, I did some other things that for money that I perhaps wasn't proud of as I got older. I won't go into that on camera. But yeah, let's say things that may be a little bit west of the law. But again, it was just all to provide, you know. And I was always raised by both my mum and dad that a man's role, and it's probably a very old school view, and there'll be some millennials and snowflakes that will try and call me out on this, but you know what, I don't care. That the man's job is to provide and protect.
Yeah.
You know, and I've always lived by that mantra, and that's not me being a chauvinist like, oh, I'll do the blue jobs, you do the pink jobs, because that's not how it works, although Katie at home will say that. But my job, so my in order to provide and protect, I need to earn. So I have to work hard. So hence why I was saying I don't fail, I learn, because if I do get knocked down, I get straight back up and go on to the next thing, you know. So I think my childhood, having that upbringing where we didn't have much, I mean, as I said, I've never really been driven by money. I don't care about money. I'm goal driven. So I will set a goal, and it could be anything, whether it's a gym goal or a work goal. It might be that, you know, I am, rather than I earn the most as a supplement retailer, my goal is to be the biggest supplement retailer. And that's not because of the money it brings, it's just because I'm driven by those successes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's all built from that young age. And also playing rugby at a high level as a youngster, I'm driven, you know, naturally sporty in that instance as well. Like, I don't understand not being competitive. So that's why I've always done well in whatever I do, because I've naturally got that competitive edge. And I will just keep going and keep going and keep going until I get better at it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
actually, now I need your help with English.
Okay.
If you betrayed someone, what is the opposite? If you never betrayed anyone.
You're supportive of them, or
No. You never betrayed anyone.
Loyal. Yeah.
Okay, let's go now.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen
Don't
more,
worry about it.
more than now.
I've got you.
Loyal. I think when you was talking about your family, I think the one of the situation in my life make me being so loyal, because obviously without diving very deep into, like my mom left, and she left all kids behind, my father, all my siblings. She just betrayed everyone and just left, all right? And because of that, I think, I never thought about that before this way, but I think because of that, I am very loyal person.
Yeah.
If you respect me and you are loyal to me, you will get exactly same back. And I don't think I ever betrayed anyone, and I think that shaped me a lot. This fact that, you know, she just left and she would be disloyal. I think it just stuck in my head. Now, when I even think about not being loyal to someone, it just makes me fucking sick.
Do you know, it's funny. I mean, you may have seen it. Like, obviously, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm often topless. I have loyalty tattooed across the bottom of my stomach. Funnily enough.
Easter egg.
But yeah, but also on that, you said about respect, and that I think respect is earned and not just given.
Of course.
So and that goes back to being loyal and stuff. If you don't you know, I'm not saying that I command respect and you have to be respectful to me. Like, if you don't like me, you don't like me. Like, that's fine. You know, go away. There's plenty of other humans I can be friends with. But you have to earn that respect. Do you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like what I follow in my life is a way like if I meet someone, you are a clean page for me. Like you are you are not negative, no, you are not positive.
just
you are just existing in my world.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you if you want to fuck this up or you want to make it better. I always treat you very well. I always respect you. But if you go in another direction, I will give you exactly the same what you give me.
Yeah. I'm the same. Like I always say, some people may say I'm an arsehole. Some people may say I'm a nice guy. I act accordingly. You know.
You're like a mirror.
Yeah. Like if you're a wanker to me, I'm going to double that and show you what a real wanker is. If you're nice to me, I'll show you double the loyalty. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think, again, that comes with age and you learn that a bit more. Like, this is going to sound, I don't have many friends. I don't have a huge friend circle anymore, but that's intentional. You know, and I've learned, Seth Feroci, bodybuilder, he said, you just need a handful of loyal motherfuckers. You know, and you don't need a huge army. Like, I know I've got, you know, my two best friends, Ricky and Mark. I could call them at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, I need you. I don't need to tell them why, and they won't ask why. They'll just go, where do you need me and when? Do you know what I mean? And they're there. And I'm probably the same with you and I.
Oh, yeah.
There'd be no questions. Yeah.
I think Joey Diaz once said that on stage. Like, you don't need many friends. You just need 3 motherfuckers. You can take over the town.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I think it is true.
There's a film, I can't remember the film, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's got Ben Affleck. And he says to someone, he said, look, we're going to do something. Don't ask questions. Don't ask why. We're just going to do this. And some people are going to get hurt. And the guy that he says to just says, who's driving, me or you?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I know
he doesn't question it.
I know exactly this clip as well.
But that's exactly what my mates are like, you know. And I know, you know, I'm not saying we go killing people, but you know what I mean. Like, that level of loyalty is, and that means more to me. You know, they're not friends, they're brothers in my eyes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
I know exactly what
I'm
you're
saying.
saying.
My sisters are like that as well. I mean, I don't have any brothers. I've got 6 sisters, a whole herd of women around me.
6 sisters.
6 sisters, yeah. And I know at any point I could call on any one of them, and they'd be there. And one of my sisters in particular, you know, when my dad was unwell in the hospital when I was a young baby, she would take care of me while my mum was in hospital with my dad. So she's essentially my best mate. You know, I'm very close to her. And we speak very regularly, and I know for the same. I mean, she lives up in County Durham now, but I know if I phoned her, she'd be in the car on her way down here within minutes, and vice versa. And it's that back to that point of loyalty.
Yeah,
you know,
loyalty is extremely important.
Yeah,
and I think also you need this circle of, as you said, close friends, where you know people are loyal in there.
Yeah, 100%.
And you give them your loyalty, and that's how it works. And it will work. If that's
it's give and take. You can't just take. You have to give as well.
If one of these people is just take without giving, he's just out.
Yeah.
And same for you. Like if you start just taking without giving, they're gonna kick you out.
But they also need to be, as well as being loyal, they need to be supportive. Prime example, I've got a business, right? Now, if, say, for example, a friend comes in and buys a tub of protein powder off me, argument's sake, as soon as they ask me for a discount, I know they're not a true friend. Because a true friend should be saying, absolutely not, I'm paying you full price, because they should be supporting my business. And the same for me, it'd be like me asking you, Pete, can you do me a favour? Can you come and build me an extension on my house? Yeah, but I'm only going to pay you £5,000 instead of 10 because you're my mate. Fuck off, mate. Like, then I'm not a real friend if I'm not supporting your business. So I think that all comes into it as well. Like, the amount of friends that when I started this, and also when I started my coaching business a few years ago, that instantly said, wanted freebies, or, you know, one of my friends, and the exact message when I opened this, he said, oh, you got a supplement shop, now I finally get discount protein. No, you don't. For that, I will never give you a discount, just for making that comment. You know?
It's it's always, I think that came from Alex Hormozy. He said, if someone come and ask you if you can do it for cheaper, you can always say, I can do it for more.
You can do it for more, yeah.
I can do it for more if you want.
Yeah.
And just imagine the stranger is coming to your shop, for example, and buying something for the full price, and he's not even asking for a discount.
Yeah.
And then your friend is coming and asking for a discount.
Yeah.
In which place is put this fucking friend then?
Do you know what?
Which kind of group?
And it's funny, my another friend of mine said, if somebody, say for example, I'm charging 50 quid for a tub of protein, just for an even number, and he says, I want to pay you 25, just say, no worries, pour half of it out, and then just give him half. You know, like, same thing, isn't it? Like,
that is true, that is true. I think we started off with more kind of deeper, emotional, family-related topics. Now let's stick with more official UK-based topics.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of shit happens recently.
Yeah, daily. It's England. Shit's happening all the time.
Yeah,
Country's
recently
fucked.
in our
Excuse my language, but
front garden or the back garden, or however how English people call it. A lot of things happen.
In our own backyard, own back garden,
Backyard, yeah.
I mean, it's an American saying, I suppose.
I said back garden. It's a yard,
it's an American saying, but you bastards stole our language, so, you know, we'll claim it as English.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Rachel Reeves,
yeah.
just announced the financial
Chancellor.
budget plan.
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened in there? Tell me as a British person, tell me, what the fuck just happened, and what is your take on it?
I mean, look, the country's fucked as it is, isn't it? But let's. I mean, the first thing is it got leaked early, and she was more annoyed at the fact that her budget was leaked early, as opposed to being annoyed at the fact that she's gone back on everything she promised. Ultimately, like freezing, they've frozen the tax, and she's made it out like it's a good thing. But we're not saving money because inflation is outweighing that. So if anything, we're worse off. You know, things like that. And
you're talking about the frozen tax brackets.
Yeah, frozen tax brackets. Yeah, and then like, so but what will happen is, because inflation's going up, although they're frozen the tax brackets, inevitably employers are going to have to pay us more. You know, minimum wage will go up and so on. So therefore, certain people will then be pushed into higher tax brackets and will end up paying more tax. So it actually makes people worse off. And I'm not an economist, so I'm, you know, forgive me if I'm wrong, and I'm going to be very vague because it's not what I do. But I'm just giving you my take on it. And this is why so many millionaires are leaving and going to Dubai and places like that, because why would you stay here when the country's going backwards?
Yeah.
In my eyes, you know, like.
Yeah, it is weird. Just to give people a bit of a backstory or explanation, let's say. The people who are employees and earn up to 12,507, I believe it is, or 512. 12,500. It's a personal allowance.
Yeah.
And you are in the 1250L tax bracket, which means you're not paying any tax. You are tax-free. You are on zero. All right, so you don't have to pay. They shouldn't charge you anything.
Yeah, so for those that work part-time or low hours or something, going to fall into
Over
that.
Up to 50,000, you are still in the same group, but from the 12,500, you start paying 20%, which is completely fine. But now, if we got a raise in our income, you have to understand, if the brackets aren't moving up, you're getting more money, but you are still taxed on the same level. So now, if you take more money, you are still only personal allowance free up to 12,500. But you make more money. Even without getting to the next bracket, which is over 50,000, you're still losing money. It's kind of, yes, we earn more, but we spend more in tax.
Yeah.
And obviously the prices of the groceries, of bills,
just
don't
general
get me
living
started.
costs. Yeah. Even things like milk, butter, bread, rice, potatoes, just basic things that people eat. The prices are going up, and then And they wonder why there's, you know, I'm probably sort of massively diverting off at the moment, but why there's like an obesity issue, because it's cheaper to buy shit food than it is to buy good food. So, you know, why they're putting inflation on this, there's no wonder people living off turkey Twizzlers and Finder's pancakes as opposed to chicken, rice, veg like you and I would do.
Yeah, the whole food.
Yeah, whole food is dearer, yeah.
It's there. You taught me recently that they are more expensive.
Yeah.
It is cheaper to live on the shit food.
Yeah.
It is cheaper.
Yeah, well, you can go to Iceland or farm foods or something like that. And
getting frozen chicken, chicken breaded chicken or something. And it's
well, it's not real chicken, is it? It's minced up ball bag and eyeball and stuff. But
two things I realized recently in regards to prices. I went to Tesco and I realized the fucking plastic bag costs you 40 pence now.
Yeah.
Plastic bag. Another realization, I just stopped fucking KFC. I'm one of this guy who, if I'm going somewhere, I rather eat shit than be hungry.
Yeah.
Okay? So I just stopped on the way to work, I just stopped to KFC. And I was like, I'm just gonna grab this fucking small wrap with chicken and, you know, it's shit, but still.
Yeah. Better than nothing to an extent.
It is one tortilla wrap with 2 small breaded chicken breasts inside. It's $5.99. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
$5.99 for something like that. I was like, what the fuck? But obviously, it's not like people going over there all the time, especially if they are on a lower income. But the general groceries are expensive like fuck. Recently, it's like everything went up, apart our salaries, obviously.
Yeah.
And another thing is the bills, energy bills, all that stuff.
Don't even get me started.
She announced that there is a measure intended to reduce household energy bills by around 150 on average. They fucking doing that every single year. They drop the prices £150 to raise them up over the winter, where people use energy and electricity over the winter, and it's fucking going up from 150 down. It's going up 700.
Yeah.
So what the fuck we talking about? Is that the smoke curtain? How you call it? Does the fucking
like a smoke curtain.
like what the fuck are we doing?
Do you know, it's funny, like, you know, me and Katie live, it's just me and Katie, both of us are out for 12 hours of the day at work and the gym and stuff. We go home, we cook, we may watch telly for an hour or so and we go to bed. So we don't consume much power at home. And yet every year our bill goes up by a significant amount, you know. So just for two of us, I think we pay, I don't know, 150 quid, 200 quid a month, whatever it is for utilities, for gas and electric, but we hardly use it. Like we both batch cook, you know, typical fitness people. We cook a load of chicken, a load of rice, whatever, goes in Tupperware boxes. We dish it up each day because we eat the same things day in, day out. Then when it runs out, we cook again. So we only actually cook once or twice a week. So it's not like the oven's on all the time. The heating's not on all day because we're not in the house. The electricity's not on all day, apart from obviously the background stuff like the fridge freezer that stays on. So how can our bill be so high? Like our water rates, yes, we both shower because we're not dirty tramps, but we're like £60 a month for water. It's like a basic human right. Like, why are we paying £60 a month for it? Like, for two people that are hardly home.
It's just fucking, it's just ridiculous what's happening. There is another ridiculous thing that happened, and what they announced. The budget scraps the 2-child benefit cap.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Let me think. Who got more than 2 children in a family?
Yeah, the wealthier.
What the fuck is this for? For who?
Yeah.
For who? Like, that it's for me. When I heard that, it's a fucking open invitation. Just come to the UK, make a lot of babies, don't work so you can get the child benefits.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be better off than people who actually fucking spend the whole day on the building sites.
Yeah. Do you know? Look, with the benefit system, I think you know it's great for people that genuinely can't work, people that are disabled, people that are unwell, you know, elderly, etc., etc. I get it, and it's a great thing to have. But for people that are just leeching off the system, that, you know, and I know people that are very close to me that do that, and I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to piss anyone off, but they're more than able to go out and work. There's no excuse for it, and yet they don't. Or it could be that they work part-time and don't want to up their hours, because if they up their hours, they lose their benefits. Fuck off. Literally,
system.
fuck off. You're a leech. Like, I'm sorry, but you are an absolute leech, and you don't deserve to be here.
The system is fine. I know there will be a lot of comments, because I went through that before, and people will start fucking sending comments. If you don't fucking like it, you don't belong here. Go back to your country. All that.
Yeah, well, you don't belong
bullshit.
here, Pete. Go back to your country. Yeah.
Just
what are you
for
doing
fuck's
here?
sake, just understand that all this shit touches you.
It affects everyone.
Yeah, affects exactly the same. We are in the same fucking group.
And we have this issue with the illegal immigrants coming over and leeching the system. I get it. Look, no one wants them. Actually, let me phrase that. No one wants them here. That's a bit harsh. Like, the majority of people see the issue with it, right? And
that's nice.
Yeah. I think it's the right way to. Yeah, no one fucking wants them here. Racist. But the bigger leech on the system are English people. I'm sorry, but they're a bigger number. However, the government will keep letting more and more immigrants in, illegal immigrants, rephrase it, because our country's built on immigration, but the illegal immigrants in, because where English people are starting to get pissed off of it, and they might lose 1 or 2 votes, like you touched on earlier, let more immigrants in, eventually they get citizenship and can vote, they'll gain 100 votes off them. So,
Exactly. When you think about, like, most of the people give themselves a question: why the fuck the government would allow this to happen, right?
Yeah.
And you always have to think about incentives. What's in there? What's in there for who? And the only fucking answer, the only fucking thesis I heard recently, and I do agree with that, is you can piss off a lot of people when you take the illegal migrants in.
Yeah.
But you gain a lot of fucking votes as soon as they will get through all the legal fucking duties, and they will gain a settled status or whatever they get. You get the votes, a lot of votes.
Yeah.
And if they want to bring their families,
they'll get more votes. Yeah.
And you get fucking votes. Just imagine, like we talk about Farage.
Yeah.
You said he possibly can win.
Yeah, do you know what? And I genuinely believe that sooner rather than later there will be another general election, because let's be honest, Keir Starmer's and he couldn't run a bath, let alone a country. And then there's no faith in Conservative from the past. Liberal Democrats, just a bunch of melts. So that only leaves Reform, doesn't it? Really, and they're gaining traction every year, more and more and more traction. And I personally don't vote, purely because I think they're all dickheads to an extent, right? And I think no matter who you vote in, it is not going to be great. But, and I know, again, there'll be comments, well, if you don't vote, then how can you expect change? And how have you got a right to talk and moan about it? Well, fuck off. I like to moan. But like, I just, I don't know. Change is going to come in some form, whether it's an uprising of the people, and we see riots and things like you see in France and things like that, or whether there's a political change and we have that Trump effect where a lot of people didn't like Trump, but actually he's making a lot of relatively positive changes in America. Yes, he's a bellend, but he's making positive changes. So maybe we need our version of a Trump.
Yeah, many people say, regards to Trump, many people say, because he's a businessman, he's making money on the back of it.
Yeah,
he does, but also American people, though.
Yeah.
If that's getting better, I don't give a fuck if you're making money on the top of it.
Yeah, fair play.
Like, as long as my country gets better, due to your decisions, due to your leading, due to your fucking being president and doing the best, I'm sound. You make money on the top of that. I don't care. But I would counter you on that one, because I don't think Reform can win the election.
No, maybe not straight away, but I think it's on the horizon.
It might be in the next decades or so, but I don't think, many people after the all comments from Nigel Farage, obviously he said, and I do agree with him on statement, UK is for English people first,
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be in every country, I believe. If you are like in Romania, the Romanian people should be prioritized. If you are in Poland, Polish people should be
Yeah.
prioritized. If you are in the UK, British people should be prioritized on every single
On every
fucking
level,
aspect.
yeah. I think, do you know what? And I'm all for helping out other countries, you know. It's nice to be nice, it's nice to help. However, charity begins at home, and you need to help yourself first. Once we're on our feet and our country's doing well and the British people are doing well, and I don't mean British as in white English people, I mean British citizens, whether you're an immigrant or not, if you're a British citizen, you're British at the end of the day. So as long as we're doing well as a country, and if there's a little bit left over at the end, by all means then hand some over to other countries. But at the moment we haven't got enough for ourselves. Let's do that first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
The UK just going through the hard, weird times for sure. But even like after Brexit, we're gonna stop people coming from the Europe, coming to the UK, all that stuff, or make it more difficult. And they did. I spoke with a couple people who decided they want to come to the UK, but when they went through all the legal requirements, they were like, fuck me, it's impossible to come to the UK now. But, and you know, many people like myself, legal is very important word in here.
Yeah. I don't know. I've not seen your paperwork, Pete. I don't know, mate. I don't know.
You know, maybe I got a little boat in my garden.
I've seen that inflatable boat in your garden. I've seen it.
You know, many people like myself, I was thinking, look, if they close the borders, right, it might be better. Because I was thinking, less people, more jobs, right? More requirements for the higher qualified people. And I think it will get better. But they close the border for the hardworking people who used to come here to work, to contribute to the society. But they bring in these doctors and engineers and all these technician, IT guys illegally. So it's not fucking. It's not even now.
No.
It's just going to.
No.
I don't know.
Do you know what I think? Look at other countries like Australia. If you have a service to offer them and they need it, come on in, and you've got a certain amount of money in the bank and so on, so you're immediately contributing to their country.
Yes.
Then you can come in.
Yeah, that's how the visa is supposed to work.
Yeah. But if
you come without the visa, how you can fucking do that?
Yeah. Well, just shut the fucking borders.
If you're showing up on the fucking on the border, they have to let you in.
Yeah, but
what then?
That's the issue. Don't let them in. Put the Navy in the channel, sink the boats. I'm sorry, as harsh as it is, sink the fucking boats, and they will soon learn. Don't sink the boats, pull them out of the water, take them back to mainland Europe, send them back. And people, and I'm going to get called out for that, and I don't care. We don't have enough space, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough facilities for all these people to keep coming over. So put the Navy in, sink the boats, they'll soon learn. We better not do that, because we're only going to make it halfway and we're going to get very wet and very cold, and they're going to send us back. It won't take long.
That is true.
Yeah, and it might be a harsh choice, and there's going to be people go, Ed, you're a dick, Ed, you're an arsehole. Yes, I am, and I'm proud of it. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. And you'll call me racist for it. It's not racist. It's just patriotic. I'm proud of my country, and I want it to remain in a good state or get back to a good state.
Do you think it can go back?
I don't think it can go back.
Or it needs massive revolution?
Yeah, it needs to change. It won't go back. I mean, I won't say, "Oh, do you remember the good times?" I'm not old enough, So, but I don't know. And it's just my opinion at the end of the day. As I said, this is not my job. I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist. That isn't what I specialise in. I specialise in health and fitness. That's my subject. However, I'm entitled to have an opinion, as everyone is. That's the whole point of living in a democracy and freedom of speech. Unfortunately, people get offended by freedom of speech these days. For those people, go fuck yourselves. Yeah, that's just how it is.
I think everyone should be eligible to have their own opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, and also, people are eligible to comment on their opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? And I welcome people to comment on my opinion. And you know what? If you can correct me, then great, and I will learn from it.
Yeah.
I'm I'm not completely stubborn. I don't have a brick wall put up in front of me and go, my opinion is right. If you can put a valid argument and I buy into it, I go, do you know what? Yeah, you're right. You know, but you're going to have to put a bloody good argument to me to change my mind
Yeah.
on that. But you know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's an opinion. You know, same as somebody might have an opinion on the colour top I'm wearing or your hat or whatever the case may be. It's an opinion, you know, and you're entitled to it.
We are very original today. We got the hats on.
Yeah, both in
Without
black
the
hats.
fucking baldies.
Yeah, last
today.
week we were both bald, today
Yeah.
we're both wearing black hats. We didn't message each other memos, by the way, it's just
No.
how it turned out, yeah.
While we are on a British topic, what the fuck is going on with the royal family?
Oh, well, look, they've been in a fucking pickle for a while, haven't they?
You know, like for me, the royal family, British royal family, it's one of these front images of the UK.
Yeah, do you know, a lot of people say, what's the point of them? Because they don't do anything. I don't buy into that because, you know, they bring a lot of money into the country. I don't know where that money goes, but they bring a lot of it in, you know, through tourism and whatnot, and, you know, ambassadorship and travelling and touring. However, what I like about it is no family is perfect, right? And every family is dysfunctional. And the royal family, you know, they try and put up this image of this perfect family, and they're fucked. I mean, look, Andrew's a you know, at the end of the day, you've got divorce happening everywhere. You know, it's just the whole family is mayhem. But for me, it's comedy gold. You know, keep them because for comedy value, they're brilliant. For anything else,
really
complete waste of space, bunch of oxygen thieves. But yeah, just for comedy value, keep them.
It is weird. You know, like at some point, I started to think like, you know, I live in the UK. I think I should learn a bit more about the royal family, about the British history and all that stuff. But when I was diving deeper, I was like discovering all these fucking scandals. Like,
there's loads.
What the fuck is going on in here?
And then you've got all the conspiracy stuff like Princess Diana's passing was arranged by the royal family and so on. You know, take from that what you will. Some people believe it, some people don't. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I don't buy into that sort of shit. But, you know, sometimes you think maybe it could have happened because they are a bit messed up. You know,
It's like a lot of shit happened. Like I cannot imagine that one of the obviously one of the royal family member will be stripped of the royal titles. For me, that's unimaginable.
Yeah, well, maybe don't be a sex pest.
Yeah,
would be my advice on that.
Obviously, like
Yeah.
when you know why,
Yeah.
obviously that makes completely sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that is the correct move, right move to do. After, you know, like...
It's taken long enough, though, isn't it? It should have happened a long while ago.
Yeah,
you know,
it's happening in
I wasn't sleeping with
2021,
young
right?
girls. Yeah, I wasn't sleeping with young girls. I was in Pizza Express. I can't remember what I had for breakfast. How can you remember back so many years on that exact date you were in Pizza Express? You know, that story was already preempted because he knew at some point that was going to come out in the news. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and the more it goes on, the more information comes out, the harder it is for him to hide. Hence why he's now being stripped of his titles and so on, and has to move out of the royal residences and so on and so forth. But, you know, that's not enough. Lock him up. Sorry, whether you're the brother of the king, the son of the queen, whatever, you need locking up, mate. Like,
It shouldn't make
you're
no
a
difference.
nonce. I'm sorry, but yeah.
It's just after the area I heard that they went for the settlement.
Yeah, it's instant guilt.
Yeah.
It's like, say, for example, you or I broke the law, whatever it may be, and then I'm not guilty, but have some money to keep quiet. Well, why are you offering, if you're that innocent, why are you offering a payout?
Yeah. It is weird.
Yeah.
It is weird for sure. For sure, you've been a royal highness, and you are not anymore.
Yeah, and you know what, like I said, there's some people that are real royalists and they love the royal family, and I'm not against the royal family, but like I said, for my reason is because they just bring pure comedy gold. Yeah.
But it is like a front
They're like a real-life
front
sitcom.
face as well, like
Yeah.
of the UK. You
Yeah,
know,
they
like,
do a lot for the country in terms of bringing stuff in and a lot of tourism and so on. So,
Yeah, they're a very, very unique system to have
Yeah.
in the country. I would
Yeah.
say, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not like big on it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know much. That's why I'm asking you really.
no,
on
I'm
your
not
opinion,
deep.
because
I don't know enough about it, but I know that they're very Dickensian in their way, like very old-fashioned, and they haven't really moved with the time so much. And I think maybe when King Charles abdicates or passes or whatever comes first, when William steps up as king, I think maybe things may change, because him and Kate are a lot more modern. Another Kate.
Yep, there's a lot of Kates.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe things will, you'd hope, would change a little bit. They'll bring a little bit more modernism into it, but I don't know. I don't really care. I'll be well old by that point, so.
We talked about Reform UK,
Yeah.
right? On 26th of September 2025, Nathan Gill pleaded guilty to 8 counts of bribery under the Bribery Act.
Yeah.
He'd been sentenced to 10 years and 6 months in jail. Nathan Gill, former MEP and ex-leader of Reform UK in Wales.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, look, let's be honest. 9 out of 10 politicians are about as straight as a roundabout. You know, they're all corrupt in some way, or they're out to line their own pockets. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't know anything about this, because I don't watch the news, purely because I just get pissed off whenever I watch it. So it was only you that brought this to me earlier on today.
I can give you some backstory on that. So for the viewers as well, between December 2018 and July 2019, Gill accepted payments, at least £40,000 from a pro-Russian Ukrainian figure, Oleg Voloshin, in return for making statements favorable to Russian interest regarding Ukraine. So essentially what happened, he'd been paid by the Russia to do a good comments in regards to the Russian-Ukrainian wars favorably for the Russia. And this is what he done. And the payments were in exchange for a number of actions, giving speeches and tabling motions in the European Parliament, participating in media interviews and opinion pieces for pro-Russian outlets. So essentially, he was changing the narratives in the Euro parliaments and in the UK, Wales, and all that stuff, favorably for Russia, which obviously is illegal.
Yeah.
I guess, if he'd been sentenced for 10 years and 6 months jail.
Obviously, I think that the illegal bit is the bribery, isn't it? And I suppose trying to influence people's thought. Again, I don't know how Parliament works and whether it's European Parliament or British Parliament. It's not my thing.
No, it's not mine as well, but obviously...
But obviously, like you say, it's obviously, whatever he's done is obviously illegal, because he's got 10.5 years inside for it.
Yeah.
That's more or less what you get for murder.
Yeah,
so it's got to be pretty illegal, isn't it?
10 years and 6 months is a long fucking time.
Well, 12 years is a life sentence, isn't it? Minimum 12 years, I think, something like that.
Okay.
Not that I've served one, but yeah, it's
a lot of shit happens.
Yeah.
And that's really recently. It's happened on the 26th of September. Everything just fucking happened recently.
Yeah.
All this shit was going on. Including obviously BBC. I mean, Trump suing or threatening the BBC.
Is it
BBC.
for 5 billion or something like that?
It's between 1 to 5 billion pounds. He's trying to, obviously, to give people more perspective on that. What's happened is, I might also put a link or an official video what's happened. But in essentially what BBC done is they took a Trump speech that he gave in 2021, and it was along the lines that we're gonna go to the White House and we're gonna cheer our brave senators and we're gonna give them a good vibe and all that stuff. And there was another 10 minutes of speech, and on the end he said, we're gonna fight for our country because you need a country, blah blah blah. What they've done, they cut out the middle part and it become, we're gonna go to the White House and we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight for our country. And it's not a fucking good thing to do. Because that's completely changed the perspective of this whole speech, right? And don't get me wrong, I think that's, if he would sue BBC and they would lose this lawsuit, that would change the news games.
Yeah.
It would, because people would think twice before they publish anything.
Yeah, it's just clever editing, isn't it? But the BBC, who are meant to be unbiased, completely unbiased, you know, especially as they're funded by us, like, you know, by paying TV licensing and so on, they're probably one of the most biased bloody news outlets going. You know, it's just bollocks, isn't it? This is another reason why I don't watch the news, because it's manipulated. Whoever's funding it or whoever's pulling the strings at the top, it's manipulated to suit a certain agenda. And yeah, I'm not even going to go again. Yeah.
What is very interesting for me is, because I don't think, let me know, people in the comments, let me know if you actually knew that the TV license fee you've been paying for years, did you know that it's actually going to the BBC? Well, I didn't.
Yeah, I think a lot of older English people would know that, but however, younger people may not. Certainly, people that have come over as migrants may not. You just pay because you think that's just what you have to do in this country. But yeah, it funds the BBC solely. But that's BBC Radio, BBC Online, BBC TV, everything. But yeah, it solely funds the BBC.
It's interesting because when you come to a foreign country, right, as myself, the first thing you don't want to do is to break the law and do something wrong that they can kick you out. So when you get a letter from TV license fee, you have to pay. The first thing you do is just fucking go online and pay it. And you don't even think about if you have to pay or you don't have to pay, what are the requirements.
They will fine you if you don't pay it.
Yeah.
But if you don't watch the BBC or watch any telly at all, if you have a telly in your house, you still have to pay that licence fee, irrelevant of whether or not you watch it. And that's what I think is bollocks, because, I mean, we do watch it in our house. Katie watches it here and there, but by and large, we don't watch it. You know, we watch Netflix or whatever most of the time, or YouTube or whatnot. So I think for the people that don't watch it at all, I know it's hard to prove who does and doesn't watch it. That, you know,
I think there are actually people in vans who drive around.
Yeah, they do.
And can actually find out if you are watching.
Funny enough, I keep getting a letter here to the shop chasing me for my TV licence fee. I'm a shop. I don't have a TV. But they keep chasing me for not paying my licence fee. I'm not a residential... Yeah.
That's weird. But yeah, but like when... I even didn't know that you only have to pay when you literally watch the live TV.
Yeah.
Like traditional TV. Which, you know, I was like, oh no, I'm watching YouTube and Netflix. I have to pay. And I used to pay for fucking years.
Yeah.
I used to pay. Now, obviously, I'm not paying because I'm... How many people, obviously you do watch traditional TV, as you said, your wife.
Not much, but yeah, we do watch the odd
obviously,
thing,
if you even touch up on it, like you have to pay, right?
Yeah.
But I got some interesting stats actually in here because I really want to touch up on it. Because I didn't know, and it's so exciting for me to learn new things.
Yeah.
So the BBC, they start charging a TV license fee like 80 years ago.
Yeah.
80 years ago, all right? And BBC make, in income, they make around £5 billion per year.
Yeah.
All right?
Not this year, because it's all going to Trump.
yeah. Keep paying, guys. Keep paying TV license fees, because out of this £5 billion, almost £4 billion of income for the BBC is a TV license fee.
Yeah.
4 billion out of 5 is TV license fee.
Yeah, because they can't have advertising because they charge for licensing.
Yeah.
So
but it's mad.
Yeah.
For me, it's mad. And you know what is very interesting? I pulled out the stats for the last decade.
Yeah.
How much BBC makes of the TV license. And it's interesting because even though in 2015, 10 years ago, 25.6 million people paid for TV license fee, They made 3.7 billion pounds. In 2025, 10 years later, almost 2 million people less paid, which take us to 23.8 million people. 2 million people opt out from paying TV license. They still made 100 million more than in 2015.
Yeah, because of the price going up.
Because the price went from 145 to 169. But now, I need your take on it. Do you think less and less people will pay TV license fee?
Yeah, but in doing so, they'll just keep putting the price up for the people that do pay it.
But how people will be able to afford that?
Well,
they can fucking afford the bread now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thing is, you know what it's like? You think you can't afford it, then somehow you manage to find that money. You know, people find it, and you pull back on something else, but then it gets to a point where I can't pull back on anything more. You know, and then that's when people will stop paying. But
what I'm getting with that, just imagine, like, I think there is 3 reasons why these numbers will tank.
yeah, obviously more and more people are just watching on-demand TV now.
That is one of the reasons.
Yeah.
You have to think that who's paying TV license, all right? It's a lot of people who grew on traditional TV.
Yeah, but they're going to start dying.
But they are start dying.
Yeah.
They're getting older and older. Probably another high percentage is the people who watch live sports.
Yeah.
Okay? But there is a third reason why it's gonna tank. Because newborns and even people like up to probably 18 years old now, they don't even fucking know what the traditional TV is.
No.
If I ask my boy who's almost 10, I ask him, do you know what is ITV4?
Yeah.
He'll be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's Netflix.
He never watched traditional TV, so obviously he won't pay.
Yeah.
And in the next, probably 5 years, maybe decade, this number will tank. So now they got a choice. They have to either change the way they charge people for it. They will have to find a way to make money.
Or they will go down the traditional like ITV Channel 4 route and start putting advertising on and make money through that route. Because that's the only way they'll survive if people
but
aren't
still,
paying.
you have to realize that even if people won't pay the TV license, still this number is tanking down. It's not that people don't pay. People stopped watching traditional TV.
Yeah. But then if you notice now on Netflix, there are a lot of BBC-produced programmes coming on Netflix and so on.
Okay.
So
they're changing
so they're already moving over to that. And then you've got whatever their on-demand service is called, I can't remember. But they're already moving sort of on-demand stuff. So they're already getting there.
I haven't seen this one, to be honest.
It's a water a day, isn't it?
Yeah. While we are on this topic of TV and watching things on demand, you know, obviously UK did pass the law which is called the Online Safety Act.
Okay.
Obviously, what essentially means you have to prove your age to watch porn, to watch things over 18, right?
Yeah.
With interesting stats. Pornhub Daily UK visits fell from about 3.2 million to roughly 2 million daily. Can you
So it's
imagine
dropped
that?
by a third, yeah.
It's like, Pornhub seeing about a 77% decrease in the UK viewers. Why I'm touching up on it? Because I had a thought. You know what's interesting? As soon as they passed that, I realized I don't need porn that much, because it's so easy to pass this. You can get VPN, or you can get a fake fucking ID from the internet, and you can just make it work, and you can watch porn. But even that is too much for me. I did not went on the porn sites from the moment they applied this fucking thing.
Do you know, To be fair, I've never really been a porn guy. It's never really interested me.
Okay.
Like, people might think, what? Are you gay?
Or he's lying. He's
yeah,
lying. He
yeah,
has
he's
to lie.
lying. No, I'm all, every 5 minutes. I'm just saying it to keep the missus happy. That genuinely, like, it's never really. I just find it's just a fake dopamine hit. Like, and I think,
is.
yeah, what am I? It's like going to a strip club, right? And I'm not saying I've never been to a strip club because I absolutely have, but you know, you pay whatever the cost is for a dance. I don't know what it is these days. I mean, I haven't been since I was sort of a late teenager, early 20s. But you pay for this dance to get an awkward boner, and then she walks off and leaves you. Like, you know, there's no, you know, it's almost like being on drugs. You get this high and then this crash. It's never bothered me. Like, yeah, so like when they announced this thing, I've got a couple of mates who were like, oh yeah, but how am I going to watch my porn? I'm like, well, maybe just don't watch it. Maybe pay your missus a bit of attention instead.
It was really big thing when it came out, the whole Online Safety Act, and people were, oh, fucking know what we're gonna do that now, and like it's nothing because you can really very easily just bypass it. But I just find it interesting that, you know, like we always say, everything has the price tag attached to it, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you just realize how little you care actually after that about something, because like it's so easy to do for me to bypass it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's still too much to do for me. I don't need this as much, and I think it can apply also to the people who try to achieve something in sport. Sometimes people are like, you know, I want to get ripped. You have to understand there is a price tag attached to it.
Yeah.
You want to get ripped, you will be on a diet. Do you want it? Do you want to be ripped more than you want chocolate?
You're going to do a lot of cardio. Do you know what? It's funny. I had a conversation with somebody today who inquired about coaching. I've had a couple of recently of more competitive people that want to get on stage and so on. One of them is, I wouldn't say fat. He's in all right nick, to be fair. But he's not lean. He's one of those guys, like, with a T-shirt on, you think, fucking hell, he's jacked. With his T-shirt off, he's a bit soft. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, look, I want to get on stage next year. And I was honest with him. I said, I don't think you're ready to go next year, maybe a year after. I said, I think we need to cut you down, build a bit more muscle, you know, and so on and so forth. And I was like, but you need to be... You need to understand that there's a lot of sacrifice that needs to be made to do that. Like, not to get you lean, like I can get anyone lean, but to get you on stage is a very different thing. And, you know, when your friends are saying, well, let's go out for a kebab or a curry, and you have to say no, or you can go out with them, but you're taking your food in a Tupperware box, or you need to be at bed at a certain time because you need to be up at 5 a.m. to go and do your fasted cardio, or what, you know, so many sacrifices need to be made. And I think it's... people don't realise that a lot of sacrifices have to be made to achieve certain things, you know.
Yeah.
Not just in bodybuilding. Obviously, I relate to that because that's my field. But yeah, in general, like if you want to achieve something, you're going to have to sacrifice something else often to get there.
It's always like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah, how bad do you
I
want
want
it?
it very bad.
Yeah. What
Are you
willing to
sure?
do? Yeah.
Are you sure you want to be lean, or you want to go on the stage more?
Yeah.
Then you want to enjoy this pint,
Do you know,
or this chocolate.
It's funny, I can tell you a story. I had a client probably about 2 years ago now, and he was a strong man, power lifter, so on. And he decided he wanted to cut to get on stage and compete as a bodybuilder. You know, big guy, very muscular, but also, you know, he wasn't lean. Typical strongman power lifter build. And I said, no worries, put him on a diet. He's a good friend of mine, and in fairness, he has a few medical issues as well with his stomach and so on. So it wasn't as straightforward as it may be for other clients. However, at one point he was like, "I'm struggling on this low food. I'm feeling weak or tired." At this point, he was still on about 3,500-4,000 calories a day, right? Because he was used to eating like 6,000 a day. So I pulled him down to like 5,000, and he was already losing fat at that rate because his body had adapted to operating on the much higher calories. And so he was only on about 3,500-4,000 calories, and I'm like, mate, you're not starving. I was like, wait till you're a week out from a show and you're on 2,000 or 1,500 or even as low as 1,100-1,200 for some people. That's when it's hard. Like, you're in the easy bit at the moment, you know, And anyway, long story short, he dropped off, and he didn't do it because it was too. He wasn't willing to dig, to the point where, and the amount of calories he was on, most people would get fat.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he was saying he was struggling on it.
There are levels to this game.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
When I remember myself when I was in my peak, I did look very well.
Yeah.
Even I don't like to judge myself, but I was very happy with my physique.
You judge yourself. You work hard.
Even a lot of people were saying like, man, you can get on the stage if you put this last couple beats in, you can get on stage. And I told them like, and would you go on the stage? Would you compete? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Why? You almost there? Because I enjoy this shit.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this shit. As soon as you decide to go on stage, and don't get me wrong, I never competed, but I'm in this circle of people who are bodybuilders, who are fitness people, and I've been on couple competitions. I've seen my very good friends competing.
When you see me prep, where we've been,
I've seen you prep, I've seen other people prep, and I've seen their last 3 weeks of prep. Some people barely fucking walk in.
Yeah, the hell zone.
And they still have to go to work, they have to,
you still have to function.
Deal with your life.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I said, like, I'm enjoying this shit. I'm enjoying to go to the gym, do heavy as shit workout, go home, have my food, and I'm enjoying this fucking donut or ice cream when I go with my boy in town, and I'm enjoying this shit. And I know I'm gonna pay the price for it. I will go on this fucking Stairmaster, and I'm gonna do fucking 25 minutes for this one ice cream, but that's I can tolerate.
Yeah.
If you decide to go on the stage, you get into this area when it's not about if you wanna do it or not. It's you have to do it to get on stage.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like, I was having a conversation with another coaching friend of mine. Shout out to James Mercer, by the way. We both competed at the same show a few weeks back, and he hit it on the head. He said to be a competitive bodybuilder, you probably need to be a little bit fucked in the head, and most of us are. We enjoy the suffering. It's slightly sadistic, but I actually prefer prep to off season. I like that dig. I like.
You like struggling.
Yeah, I do like to struggle because I know that by struggling, I'm achieving something. And I'm achieving something that a lot of people aren't going to achieve because they're not willing to struggle. And I think that then also palms off to the rest of your life where, to be a bodybuilder, you have to be a master of delayed gratification because things don't happen overnight. It's a long, slow process. You have to be very disciplined. You have to be very regimented. You have to manage your time perfectly because there's a lot to be done in a small window of the hours you have in a day. And so I think that will then transition to the rest of your life where you manage the rest of your life better. And that's why a lot of bodybuilders do quite well. You go to a bodybuilding gym, there's a lot of nice cars in the car park, driving nice, wearing nice clothes and so on, because they're more disciplined in the rest of their life to achieve more things. But yeah, 9 out of 10 bodybuilders have either suffered some sort of trauma, and that's our release, like that's church in essence, or they've just got some sort of mental illness. But we're all, none of us, I'm not saying there aren't any normal bodybuilders, because of course there are, but 9 out of 10 of us, we're willing to go beyond what most people are willing to do because we're a little bit touched in the head.
I love how Alex Hormozy, and I'm gonna mention him probably because I love what he is.
I'm a big fan of Hormozy.
It's a selection effect.
Yeah.
I love when it gets hard because most people won't fucking do it.
No, they won't. That's why they say again, bodybuilders, we're the 1%ers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because not many people do what we do.
Not many people want to do it, or they want to do it until they find out how hard it is.
Yeah.
And they just, maybe I don't want it as bad.
Yeah, and to circle back slightly to when you said when you were lean and people are saying, would you get on stage? And I've seen pictures of you when you were in great shape, and I've seen you in great shape in the gym. But that's not stage condition.
It's not.
Yeah, and people don't realise, like, just seeing somebody lean, there's lean and then there's stage lean. You've got sort of athletic fit lean, you've got Instagram model lean, and you've got competitive stage lean.
Yes.
And they don't realise we look like that for one day a year. or however many competitions you do. But that one day, the rest of the time we don't look like that because one, it's not healthy. I mean, bodybuilding is an extreme sport anyway. It's not healthy, and there is a risk of an element of danger to it, and so on. But you cannot be that lean for that long. One, you'll die.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. But to get to that place, and it is a dark place, you know. And again, back to what I said earlier on, you need a good support network around you. Like
you need the whole structure, really.
Oh my God,
believe.
yeah. Like if I didn't have Katie and you know, even my girls supporting her, as much as they call me a dick when I'm sulky a little bit in prep, you know, if I didn't have supportive kids and a supportive wife and supportive friends around me, like some of my older friends that knew me before bodybuilding, they're at the point now where they don't even ask me to come out with them anymore. They just don't. But when they first did and I first started my journey, why aren't you coming out? They would question, you're a weirdo because you're not getting pissed with us. I was like, well, maybe you're the weird ones because you need alcohol to have fun, you know. But now it's just, you know, I used to be called Ed the Belly from when I was a fat guy.
Okay.
And now I'm not that guy and they don't get it. You know, and it's been years since I was that guy. But it's funny that because they're not willing to push themselves to that place.
I think we can take it back to what we said at the beginning of the podcast. You are just built different.
Yeah.
And you change your life and you are like, you want to achieve these things which normal people wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean.
And I think from a young age, I've never been scared of taking risks. Like, whatever that risk is, you know, sometimes it's on the wrong side of the law when I was younger. Now, obviously not now. Now it could be a business decision where, yeah, it may not pay off, but I'm willing to take that risk to see if it does. Because if it does, it could really pay off. Do you know what I mean? And
I know exactly what
and that's the same. I've always done that with my career. Like, funny, Richard Branson always said something. If somebody offers you a job you don't think you can do, take it anyway and learn while you're doing it, right? So take that risk. And look, and if it fails, it fails. But you would have still learnt some lessons, so you've still leveled up a little bit. And that's why I'm willing to take risks and push. And that's the same, whether it's, and bodybuilding, it's the same. You know, you're taking risks if you're enhanced. You know, you're taking certain risks with your health. Yes, there's a lot of stuff you can do to mitigate that, but you're still taking a risk in order to level up.
Of course,
you know?
yeah.
And some people will, you're cheating. Shut up. But like, yeah, it's yeah. I think that's just. But most bodybuilders are like that. I think we're all risk takers. We're all a little bit touched in the head, and we're all willing to push ourselves beyond what most humans will do. And I think that's any elite athlete as well. Whether you're, you know, a footballer, a rugby player, a fighter, and you know, a long distance runner, you're willing to push your body beyond what most people will do, and that's why you're at that level.
And again, I'm gonna quote or paraphrase Alex. He said once that he had a conversation with someone, and someone asked him he was researching what people who are achieving the biggest goals in their lives have that other people do not have. And he said, it's not that. They're missing something what normal people do not. They don't have a fucking quit button.
Yeah.
They don't have the stop button.
Yeah.
They're just fucking going through without they understand the consequences of their decisions and they are willing to take these risks.
Yeah. It's not that we have something that other people don't. It's we don't have something that all the other people have.
Exactly. To summarize, essentially. That's, and you said cheating. You said cheating, and that just fits perfectly to the next topic of what's happened recently in the World Strong Woman competition.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Jamie Booker?
Yeah. Well, look, Jamie Booker is James Booker.
Yeah, it's a Booker. So just to give viewers perspective on that. So 2025 World Strongest Woman competition. There was a guy called James Booker who did compete in World Strongest Woman competition because he identified as a woman. Just to give you perspective, this guy is about 6'2", I believe, and he weighed around 400 pounds. Okay. The next, the Andrea Thompson from the UK.
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
enough, she is 5'4" and weighed about 230 pounds.
Which is still a big weight.
It's a big weight, but she's like a child compared to Jamie Booker.
But still, to put that into perspective, I'm not the smallest human on the planet, right? I'm 6'2.5", 6'3", there or thereabouts, and I weigh probably about 210 pounds at the moment, because obviously I'm just coming out of competition prep. But I will probably go up to about 240, 250, maybe even 260 in my off season, depending on how well I grow. So I weigh similar to what that 5'4" lady weighs. That's how big she was as well, so it's strength. But I weigh half what the other person weighed, and at a similar height.
Yeah.
So it's like two of me. How people didn't know that was a fucking man to begin with.
I'm gonna put the picture in here. Have you seen the picture?
Yeah.
Jamie Booker looks like a massive woman, after all.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't know, you would say, hey, that's possible, that's a woman.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't know. Woman on the fucking high dosage of testosterone.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Or a very butch lesbian.
Yeah, exactly. And you would be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But then obviously, 2 days after the competition, they realized he's a biological man.
Yeah, they realised James has got a pair of bollocks.
Yeah, and he got a ding-dongs dinging between his legs. And they obviously stripped him from the title, which, funny enough, if you're doing research on that, they still recognized him as her.
Yeah.
All the fucking news articles is she.
Yeah.
It's she. But anyway,
Yeah,
but
do you really want to get me started on that subject?
No, we won't be diving into that.
That's another podcast for another day.
Very important question.
Yeah.
When that's gonna happen in the bodybuilding world?
Well, there is a class where there are men that compete with makeup and bikinis and stuff, like transsexuals. It does exist.
Yeah, but you're gonna have.
But
that's not this.
Yeah, but
they're not trying to do that.
Yeah, but like a man.
Compete.
Yeah, it's like that. There's that athlete, that South African athlete, that she's a female, but everyone's adamant it's a man. But I think she's been tested and it's proven that it's a woman. But she's just she's got a lot of male hormone in her body. I can't think of her name. She's a runner of some kind. And I'm sure there'll be someone who knows exactly who it is, so they'll comment, I'm sure. But yeah, I think, look, it's going to happen because, you know, more and more men are transitioning to become women and vice versa. But yeah, I mean, I think if I get started on this subject, I'm going to upset a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen more often. I think, you know, whether we like it or not, it's going to happen, and hopefully they get caught. There'll be the odd one that slips through the net and gets away with it, I'm sure. But
you know, if we're talking about like levels of, let's say, Mr. Olympia or Mrs. Olympia,
yeah,
just imagine Jay Cutler competing against the fucking open Olympian woman. What the fuck?
And the thing is, like, it's funny because obviously there's genetics as well, so not everyone's going to get as big as Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman. You know, somebody might only get to my size, for example, and that's their genetic limit.
Yeah, but we're talking about open class men.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, so if a man goes to compete in a women's class, obviously an open class man, you're going to clearly see it's a man when they're getting on stage at 300 odd pounds.
Yeah, but then you got the question. They are allowing this shit in the. I mean, obviously they are. It's still the conversation going on when they fucking banning these people and they stripping off their titles and all that stuff, as it was with this swimmer. What's the name of the guy who was competing as a swimmer? Olympic
I know
swimmer.
who you mean. Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway, you know, it's we living in the world when this become acceptable, and
To some people.
to some people, obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, generally,
Yeah.
in the world, and people are completely against if you even wanna complain on that, and all this stuff. Are we getting to the place where we frankly see that is a fucking man,
Yeah.
and we
I
will
think-
still allow to compete,
Yeah.
to let him compete against the woman only because obviously all these federations are not self-founded. They got sponsors.
Yeah, yeah.
Which sponsor being pressed by fucking people who paying them and all that
course.
stuff.
I think though with it'll be harder in bodybuilding to tell for certain. Like, so say a women's open bodybuilder. These are women that are often on a lot of steroids as well, male hormones, and these hormones will virilize, and the woman will start to get masculine features in certain classes. Obviously not all of them. Obviously there are bikini models that are on some of these steroids, but on different doses. Again, I'm not going to go into that, but these open women, they will start to get more squared jawlines. Their voices will deepen. That they can get more hair, clitoral enlargement, all of these different things that can happen.
Male hormones.
Yeah. So when you get a man that's maybe gone the opposite way and transitioned to become a female, it may be hard to compare the two together because the woman's become more manly, the man's become more feminine. So you may not tell. However, if you get a man that maybe tries to compete in women's figure or bikini or wellness or something, I think it'd be quite evident that when you've got a bollock hanging out of each side of their bikini,
You might have got all
although
the-
if they're on steroids, you're not because they're going to retract. But that's a different story for another day. But yeah, it's yeah. I think it'll be more prevalent in other sports. Like athletics and things like that, and maybe like strong man, strong woman, like a man who's maybe not quite strong enough to compete a strong man. So they,
We just find that's
Yeah.
what we call cheating.
yeah, that
That's
is
what
cheating.
is
Yeah,
fucking cheating.
Yeah. Like I think, and back to the whole point of that with the steroids and cheats and so on. It's not cheating if everyone's doing it, because it's a level playing field. Do you know what I mean? And to look like a big freaky men's open bodybuilder, I'm sure there may be one or two genetic freaks that could get relatively close to that level. Well, I know Phil Heath, his first few shows was natural. Then he jumped on to level up. But if you're going to get on the Mr. Olympia men's open stage, you're going to be an assisted athlete and you're going to be on a level of gear. And a lot of them will say, oh, I don't take much. Bollocks. They're just not telling you they take much. They're on a lot of stuff. And even to my class in men's physique, that if you want to be competitive at a high level, you're going to be on gear. Yes, there are natural federations, but you're never going to earn much money from it. They're getting more and more popular nowadays, but it's going to be a while before they start earning more money. There'll be sponsors that will pay them and give them a few free bits, but
Why I'm laughing, because I was listening yesterday to Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about a enhanced how you call them, the guys who fucking biking, fucking how you call them, the guys on the bikes,
cyclists. Yeah.
They said that there are stats that in 1 year, if they would disqualify everyone who is on steroids or any additional stuff, they would have to strip 16 people in a row to get to the winner.
Yeah.
Because the top 16, everyone was on something.
Oh, you know what? It's more prevalent than people realise, though. Like, golfers, rugby players, baseball players, like all different sports. There's so many that are on enhancements of some kind. People just assume if you're enhanced, you're just on steroids to become a big muscly person. But there are enhancements that just improve endurance.
Yeah.
There are enhancements that improve strength but don't build more muscularity. There's so many things that aren't necessarily visible to the eye. But look at Lance Armstrong, who was blood doping. He was just training at altitude, taking his blood, putting it back into him at lower altitude and getting better oxygen saturation in his blood. That's not a visible thing, but it was giving him an endurance and power benefit over the other athletes. So there were so many people doing it that you probably wouldn't even realise. And it's probably more prevalent than you realise in across the sports. Like whether it be the new hyperpeptides, the amount of fighters that I speak to that are taking some form of peptides for healing themselves and so on. And I know it's a grey area. They're for research and so on. And the amount of bodybuilders that are now coming over to that side with a lot of peptides and that as well. I think we'll see more of that as opposed to steroids and anabolics as times go on. But yeah, they're not going anywhere.
Are the peptides are illegal in the natural federations?
Yes, as far as
They
I'm
are
aware.
illegal,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I don't compete in a natural federation,
Yeah, I
so
know, but I was
so I'm
thinking you
not.
might have knowledge
Yeah,
about
I've I mean, I compete a couple of. I coach a couple of natural people, and yeah, there's no utilisation of any peptides or anything.
Okay, okay.
Because they're research drugs, but essentially they're still drugs.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, so you're not. If you're on a peptide, you're not natural.
Okay.
At the end of the day, but then you could argue if you're on creatine, you're not natural because creatine is a chemically made product. You know, yes, we
Yeah, but
make it naturally in our body,
yeah, it is
and we can get it
natural.
from meat. But if you're taking it as a supplement, it's made chemically, so therefore it's not natural. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
argue. I mean, a lot of people. would go,
Therefore, it's up to fucking setting up this fucking boundaries, really.
yeah. So you know, and I know natural competitors that in their off season aren't natural. That is cheating. In my eyes, because therefore you are trying to get an advantage over the other people. Therefore, you're a cheat. And you know, and if you're going to take some sort of enhancement, compete with the enhanced guys. You know,
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
ultimately,
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't try and get on a natural stage knowing I'm not natural. I just wouldn't do it. So
It's like, is it called? Is it called sandbagging? I think it's called sandbagging, when the guys who are well experienced, for example, you can go and compete as an amateur 16 times in the last 3-4 years,
Yeah.
for example, and you get into you winning every single show, but then you going to compete as a novice again,
So,
just to fucking win.
funny enough, again, I'm not going to mention any names, but there is somebody who's relatively well known in our area, who's been competing for a lot of years, and quite often wins it. And don't get me wrong, he looks fantastic. He's in great shape, very, very good shape bodybuilder. But he competes in a novice every year.
Well,
So-
that's cheating.
Yeah.
That's
so
cheating.
so and yes, he wins and places well, but you never see him go to the British finals. You'll never see him go to anything because all of a sudden he's then not against the novices. So he's against seasoned bodybuilders and good bodybuilders. That for me, you're then competing for ego, as opposed for the joy of competing. You know, like my first show, I went straight in against the experience. I thought, no, fuck the novice. I knew I wasn't going to win, you know, and I know I wasn't even going to place well. But I thought, if I want to challenge myself, I'm going to go in against experienced guys, and which I did. And you know, two of the guys that beat me, one of them went on to win the World Championships, another one went on to turn pro that year. So I competed against good guys. So I was never going to beat them,
Yeah.
you know. But I just don't see the point in just doing that same, you know, it'd be like,
You won't learn anything new.
no, you're not going to learn anything new. You're like, in my opinion, at that stage, you're competing for ego. You're competing for trophies. And yes, we all want to win. Who doesn't want to win in a competition? But the idea of bodybuilding is just to improve yourself year on year.
Progress, yeah.
You know, the trophies are just a byproduct of that. If you know, if the judges like what they see on the day, congratulations, you get a trophy and a medal. And you may be lucky enough to turn pro in a federation if you're good enough. But should never be the aim. Like I spoke to one of my clients who wants to turn pro, and I said, rather than chase your pro card, chase a pro-worthy physique. You know, let's get you to that stage where you look like a pro, and then you may well get the pro card as a byproduct of that. But if you constantly chasing a pro card, you'll never be satisfied, because when you get it, and you get this little credit card that says I am a pro, you're then going from being a good amateur to then being the worst pro. So you've got to realise that high is all of a sudden going to become a low. Do you know what I mean? Because you've gone from winning everything to all of a sudden you're not, unless you're a genetic freak, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, but the chance of you going into the pro leagues and instantly winning everything is slim to none.
No, but if you, and I'm just thinking about this now. If you go and try to chase a pro card,
Yeah.
it got some benefits as well. Like when you get into the pro and you compete against the pros, you learn and you adapt. You shouldn't expect to be winning.
But I think a lot of people are chasing the pro card because they think they're going to all of a sudden level up financially and things like that, right? I know some very, very, very good amateurs that also do well financially. They're still sponsored. I'm sponsored. I'm not a pro. You know, like, so you can get, there are benefits to still being an amateur. And I would argue that stay amateur as long as you can, right?
Okay.
And people are probably questioning, like, what are you talking about?
You give people perspective on that.
Enjoy your bodybuilding. Do it for the love of it. You know, just keep competing amateur. Just go against other like-minded people that are doing it because they love it, right? And then if the time comes and you happen to win a pro card, great. But I think there's certain people like, oh, yes, I'd love to have a pro card purely for a business reason for me. You know, actually, let me rephrase that. I'd love to have a pro card. Who doesn't want to be pro in any sport they do, right? However, for me to chase a pro card now, granted, I'm a bit old now, so the likelihood is I wouldn't get one. But for me as a business decision, as a coach, and I'm going to get some fucking shit for this now. There's going to be coaches that are going to come at me. If you want to grow your coaching business purely for a financial reason, to have IFBB Pro or whatever at the end of your name, you're going to attract clients because they'll think you're a high level. So from a business perspective, it can help you as a pro. And me as a supplement shop, I'm going to go and buy my supplements from the pro guy. He must know what he's speaking about. However, I don't necessarily think that's not going to make you a good coach. You know, being a good coach is leveling up with knowledge, irrelevant of how good you are as a bodybuilder. That's not necessarily going to give you the knowledge to be a good coach. However, if you're doing it purely for financial reasons, then I get why certain people will be chasing that pro card for a business. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. I think you got the point up there because people, when people search for a coach for anything like that, they like to check the titles, what he's done, you know.
Are they living that life themselves?
Oh, he's an IFBB pro. He got that in the title on Instagram.
Yeah.
He has to be good.
Yeah.
Let's text him.
And it doesn't necessarily... I mean, look, I know some pro bodybuilders who are coaches that are fucking shit, right? I know some amateur bodybuilders who are phenomenal coaches. So I'm going to name drop now. Another local guy, Josh Gould, right? Ginger Training. Funny enough, he's on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel.
I know the guy.
You know, I know Josh. We've trained in the same gym for a long while. In my eyes, I think Josh is a phenomenal coach. I see the results he gets from his clients. He lives, breathes. Josh is bodybuilding, right? If you were to point at a bodybuilder, Josh is bodybuilding. He's not a pro, but he's fucking good at what he does. So therefore, he's successful at it. But there are some people who aren't very good at coaching, so they rely on the title as opposed to... Does that make...
I think...
like a lot of influencers do.
Probably we're mixing up too much two terms.
Yes.
Being a good bodybuilder has nothing to do being a good coach.
No, God no. God no.
That's two different things.
But there will be people that will assume it is because...
Of course, yeah.
That's the point I'm making.
If they see, he's competed... If someone is competing on the stage, most likely he's been coached by someone.
Of course.
It doesn't mean he's a good coach. A lot of IFBB pros, for example, the pro bodybuilders, they're not even doing coaching.
Yeah.
They're being coached.
Yeah.
But obviously, when people think about finding the coach, they're like, oh, he's a pro in the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
He might not be a pro in coaching. That's how I'm a fucking knobhead when it comes to that. I have no idea about coaching people.
No, you're absolutely right. Look,
and I'm so fucking thick when it comes to bodybuilding. I have no experience and knowledge on that, but that's how I assume that.
No, you're right. Look, prime example, I'm a coach, but I still have a coach, right? My coach, you know my coach, Aaron, again, phenomenal at what he does, right? And hence why I've gone with him. But yeah, very, very, very good at what he does. Aaron's not a pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But he's a pro coach.
Yes.
You know, do you know what I mean? Like, he's very good at what he does, hence why he has so many clients and so many numbers, and his client numbers are constantly growing because he's bloody good at what he does.
Yeah.
like, look at Ronaldo. Let's go into football and Messi. Yes, they've got a natural talent and they've got a gift. However, they still have coaches. You know, look at Mike Tyson, one of the greatest boxers to ever live. Still has a coach.
Yes.
You know, so the point I'm making is, just because they're good doesn't mean they haven't got somebody guiding them. And yes, there are some bodybuilders who are self-coached that are very, very, very good. I believe Cuba Chelan, I believe he's self-coached, or between him and his wife, Megan, that they coach. But I don't believe he's with a coach. I could be wrong. But again, very, very good bodybuilder. Again, one of the best coaches in the industry, in the British bodybuilding scene.
And he's Polish as well.
He is Polish, yeah.
I mean, he got the Polish roots.
Originally Polish. The only Polish I know with a Yorkshire accent, but yeah, he's, you know, and he's built up a great career. He owns Ultraflex in Rotherham, one of the best gyms in the country, and you know, probably one of the most knowledgeable bodybuilders I know. Well, I don't know him personally, but in terms of following, So, I mean, he is an IFBB pro. But I've even heard him say he thinks he may have gone pro too early, and you know, he was at a show that may have been an easy win, and maybe at that time he didn't deserve to go pro. And they're his words, not mine. But I think, yeah, having that title in terms of business helps, because people will just come to you.
Going hand in hand.
Yeah, I think if you've been in the bodybuilding scene for a while, you'll realise that it doesn't mean anything really in terms of business. I mean, it's a great achievement, and you know, I've got a few friends I know that have turned pro recently, and I couldn't be happier for them, because, you know, they've worked hard at it. But as an athlete, it's a great thing to achieve, but I don't think a lot of people chase it for the wrong reasons. I think I've massively digressed, but back to the point we got to, a lot of people chase that title for the wrong reasons, and you know, I think you should just bodybuild for the love of bodybuilding, and that love of suffering, and that delayed gratification, and how it levels you up in the rest of your life. And the medals, the trophies, the titles, the accolades are just a byproduct of that, and they're nice to have. But I think if you chase that, maybe you're in it for the wrong reasons, in my eyes.
I do agree, 100%. I love how we navigate every single podcast. We navigate, like, we're talking about things and bits and bobs, and then we slowly navigate into the fitness, bodybuilding.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's our background, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not so natural, just we just slowly start talking about
but I think it's the same in anything in life. Like, you know, just chase improvements, I think. Like, do you know when people say practice makes perfect? It's bullshit. Practice makes improvements. I don't think there's such thing as perfection, because when you get to what you thought was perfect, you'll always go, but maybe I can improve on that. If you can improve on it, it's not perfect. So perfection doesn't exist. You can just get better every day.
When you climb the mountain,
yeah,
all you realize on the top, there is another fucking bigger mountain behind it.
Yeah. And also you realise it's fucking lonely at the top of that mountain as well, because not many people are willing to go up there with you.
Oh yeah.
But
that's good.
But that's probably another chat for another day. But
I think we did say what we want. We shared what we originally decided to share today.
Yeah.
Unless you want to add something.
Well, I think that there's a couple of questions that I got sent in.
Okay, yeah.
So I wouldn't mind going through them. So some of them are gym related, some of them aren't. So.
Guys, before we start, guys, just as a reminder, fuck. Reminder, as a reminder. You see, that's how it's gonna be.
He speaks Spanglish, don't worry about it.
That never will be perfection in my eyes. Anyway, as a reminder, if you got any specific topics, any things you want us to touch up on, leave the comment. We definitely will squeeze that, and we are not scared of any topics. So feel free to comment and give us your questions. Let's go. What we've got for this week?
So, what is your most humbling moment, and what did it teach you about your ego, patience, or technique?
Ooh, that is an interesting question. Humbling moment. For me, humbling moment was realizing that just because I'm fucking big doesn't mean I am a fucking fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I used to work out a lot, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I was pretty big at that moment, and strong. Don't get me wrong, but when I had a moment when I had to go against the guy, I was like, oh fucking hell, you know. Probably my ego was boosted as well at this time.
Bit of testosterone in your blood.
The guy even didn't fucking damage me much, but he just showed me and humiliated
Yeah.
me so quick that I was like, okay, there's no fucking even point to fight.
Do you know what's
You know
funny?
what I mean?
Similar, back years ago when I was a doorman, and I was a lot bigger than I am now, you know, I was sort of 130, 140 kilos, you know, I was muscly, but also had a level of fat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I trained, but I also enjoyed a kebab.
You were just big, just
yeah,
to be
yeah,
big.
yeah.
On the,
You know, I was on a lot. I was on a lot of steroids, and I ate a lot of food, and I trained, so I just kept getting bigger, but I wasn't lean. And I remember a guy, he kicked off on the door one day. He was only small. He must have weighed about 8.5 stone wet, you know. And he just took one punch at me and knocked me clean on my ass. Right. It turns out he was a professional fighter. However, irrelevant of that, you think you're the big strong guy. There's always someone bigger or stronger.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I soon learned in that job that don't judge a book by its cover, you know, because look,
Yeah.
someone I thought I could kind of flick away took me clean off my feet. And no, I was like 19, 20, typical ego fueled with testosterone, thinking that I was unbeatable. And you know,
that's how we get humble. That's how we learn.
Yeah.
That's how we learn what can happen in life.
Yeah.
Same situation with me. I was like, fuck me, I'm gonna smash this guy.
Yeah.
He just gave me a hint in like 10 seconds that I shouldn't even start this fucking fight.
But you can use that as a metaphor for life, can't you? Because whether it's fighting or anything, you know, you could come up against someone in business and you think that they're not going to do anything and they do something that just completely ends your career or whatever the case may be, you know. So I think
it's happening a lot. Like, you know, when you're doing well in something, either it's a job or business or anything, you know, the challenging moments always come when you drop your defenses, when you are sure of yourself, like, I'm sorted now.
Yeah.
That is it's not like when you are just starting, when you are just getting better at things, that some shit happens.
Yeah.
No, the shit happens when you are sure of yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm sorted now.
Yeah, you need to stay humble because the more successful you get at anything, the more people will come for you. You know, like, you know, when you're at the top of the hill, people are going to want to pull you down off that hill, you know. So you need to remain humble and remain hungry. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, again, I'm going to paraphrase, but in Pumping Iron, they're like, you know, the wolf at the top of the hill isn't as hungry as the wolves climbing the hill. And Arnold said, yeah, but when I need the food, it's there, you know.
Okay,
So it was a bit of an arrogant answer.
That's strong.
But it's the point I mean is you need to remain hungry all the time. But yeah, so on to another question. So someone's just put your bounce back formula that you personally use when things go wrong. So, and then they've said, how do you personally bounce back when you feel like you've messed up?
I would love to use this quote in this moment where you are not a failure, you're just failing right now.
Yeah, that's a good quote. Yeah,
I love that when some shit happens, and I do mistakes, like everyone. I'm only fucking
you're only human. Yeah,
and when you do mistake and something goes wrong, you just remember that doesn't define who you are. You fucked up, you learn, and you do this again, different way.
Yeah, no, you're right.
How is it about you?
I think it goes back to, I said it earlier on, I don't lose, I learn.
Yes.
And I think that's how I bounce back, because if things go wrong, no matter who you are, where you are, what you do, you're going to make mistakes and you will trip up at times. Don't let it get to you. And at the time it will. You will feel defeated and deflated, but learn from that. Take a step back and look at it. Well, what didn't I do right? What went wrong? What do I need to change? So take it as a lesson rather than a loss. And I think that is, for me, I think is the most important thing. So, and I learned that as I got, when I was younger, typical young lad victim mentality. You know, everything was always someone else's fault, and I've like, you know. But now, as I've got older and more humble, and a little bit, I wouldn't say wise, but a little wiser. You know,
I'm still not perfect.
No,
Perfect
God,
doesn't
no,
exist.
no. Every day's a school day, but yeah, I think that's so. So I don't have losses. I have lessons. I think is my saying for that.
Wait a second. I'm
Go
just gonna go and check on the battery.
Yeah, no worries.
You
I've
are
got one
still-
more quite good question.
Oh, that sound is still 60% on.
I've actually got two questions, but two questions that I'm gonna roll into one because somebody's put them as two,
Okay.
but we'll roll them into one. So, what's one childhood memory that still shapes the way you think or act today? And was there a moment in your early years that made you realise that you were different from the other kids? So I think they can both kind of tie in a little bit.
Oh man, that is so good question.
They're quite deep questions.
They
but-
are
but
because
they're
you have
good.
to really like go deep in your memory
Yeah.
just to.
Yeah.
I think we can go back to the beginning of the podcast. We said about it.
Yeah.
You know, I think because that's the biggest moment in my life when my mom left. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I learned that the loyalty is the most important thing in life,
Yeah, yeah.
and you should never betray someone if he's loyal to you. I think that
Yeah.
that was my biggest lesson. That's what shaped me for the rest of my life, and I hope, obviously people change, but I hope that will stick with me till the end of my days.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah. And I think for me, again, the reason I asked this question, because both kind of tie in nicely with me, is something that changed my life. Obviously, losing my dad at a young age. So I was 13, go through puberty, where I really needed that male influence, and I didn't have it. So I had to become the man at a younger age, in my eyes. I didn't. I was still, you know, but it made me think differently and act differently. And I think I was different at that point. Where I was different from the other kids, is that question is, I only had one parent. And I know, I'm not saying I wasn't the only one with a young parent. Obviously, there were single families where mums and dads, like your mum, left, or other people. So I'm not saying I was unique in that way. But there were more kids with both parents than without at that point. Divorce wasn't as prevalent back then, and so on. And
Like it
you know,
is now.
Yeah, and losing family members, especially at that age, losing your mum or dad at that age wasn't very common. And I didn't take it well at first. Like, I kind of rebelled a little bit. I remember a teacher had said something to me in class, and I punched him, you know, in the class. I got suspended from school, and I got sent. You know, there were a few things that I did that I shouldn't have done, but I didn't know how to control it at that point. You know, it was traumatic for a 13-year-old to lose your dad, especially as a boy. You know, as I said earlier on, my dad was my hero and still is. And then obviously, you know, I saw, although my mum and dad were divorced, I saw how upset my mum was for it as well. You know, because she was still very close to my dad. So it wasn't nice seeing my mum grieve as well. So that was a tough time. But I think it shaped me, it toughened me up because I had to become tougher. I'm lucky my mum's quite tough. I mentioned that on the other podcast. Like, yeah, you don't mess with my mum. You know,
Ex-military.
Yeah, ex-military, grew up in a rough area of London, you know, married to ex-criminals, and, you know, my dad was a naughty boy, and his brothers, and, you know, my mum's sister, and growing up in North London, you know, you get to know certain people. So my mum had to grow up tough, and she hasn't had the easiest life, bless her. But I learned to be tough from her. You know, I remember crying once, and my mum said to me, "If you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about." You know.
Yeah, I give you the reason.
Yeah, yeah.
The real fucking reason.
Yeah. I think I'd fallen over and I think I'd split my knee. Like, not just a graze, like fully split my knee. And because I had my trousers on, you couldn't see. And I was only a young lad, and I was crying. I remember Mum saying that, so I instantly stopped. And do you know what? Ever since that moment, I've never cried from hurting myself, and I don't really cry much anymore. But I kind of thank my mum for that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's tough. Some people go, "Fucking hell, that's a bit harsh," but that was just, you know. But again, growing up where I grew up, you had to be tough because, you know, it was almost a kill or be killed environment. Like, not literally, but but you know, if you go up in a
You either will be tough or will be bullied.
yeah, especially like, you know, suburban city living with you know, kids grow up tough. They don't have things, so you learn to fight for it essentially. So, so yeah, a lot of things in my childhood shaped me, but I learned to fight for things as I got older, but not physically, more mentally and through work and things. Although I'm not saying I've never had a fight, but you know, that's not in my nature.
So it shaped you in a good way.
Yeah, it made me grow up. Like, you know, it kept me humble, it kept me hungry, you know, and it made me realise that not everything is guaranteed in life. You know, like life isn't guaranteed. Like, you know, my dad was only, you know, he was young when he passed. He was 57, so it was, you realise that, you know, nothing's guaranteed. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, so that I probably went a little bit deep there, but
No, that's good.
yeah.
That's good. No, that's
Yeah,
definitely.
and I don't think. I mean, there were quite a few other questions, but some of them were, if I'm quite honest, some of them were pretty shit. You know, what's your go-to protein? Like, come on now.
Well, to be
If you're
honest,
coming into my shop, you can ask me. Yeah, but
we might do maybe not a full podcast. We might do like a segment for the people. If there will be a more kind of these questions showing up, we might separate one segment or one block of the podcast just
Yeah.
to talk about these questions in regards of supplements and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
obviously they have to stack up a lot, and like, because we won't be answering the single random question about, because obviously as long as our background is fitness bodybuilding, this podcast is not about only about
We've called it
supplements.
and funny enough, it kind of links with the name. We've called it the Unracked podcast. Although I have learnt today there is another podcast called the Unracked podcast. However, that is purely a bodybuilding podcast.
Okay. I've seen one, but it was called Unracked with W.
Yes, that is the one. But
it's unracked. It's unracked. It's
yeah,
not unracked.
Unracked. Yeah, anyway, fuck you, Unracked. We're better. But yeah, I only realised that today. Anyway, we called it Unracked because, hence, unracking the barbell, whatever, in the gym. But also, we're just unracking life. You know, we're just talking shit, shooting the shit, just having a chat. But yeah, there will be an element of fitness. You know, as a coach, I'm happy to answer people's questions and go through that. We can go through nutrition, we can go through supplements. I'm not going to go into PEDs and talking about that because that's a very subjective thing and something I'll talk about with clients and other bodybuilders, but I'm not going to put it on a podcast. And also, we might get banned.
I also think it's worth to mention that all this kind of content you can find on Ed's private YouTube channel.
Yeah.
His coaching channel.
On my coaching channel, yeah.
YouTube channel. Because he's running a YouTube channel where it's mostly about workouts.
Well, it is, yeah. It's my bodybuilding channel. So, you know, I've got my Instagram pages. You know, I've got an Instagram page for the shop, at Vision Nutrition Bedford. And I've got an Instagram page for my coaching, you know, which, and then I've got my YouTube, which is, you know, it's just my life, really. Like, I just put up a video the other day of mine and Katie's trip to the zoo in Prague.
Yeah.
You know, but my life is predominantly bodybuilding. So I've got a very good videographer. So I'm lucky to have Pete on my side, where, you know, we do meet up once a month and film a proper professional content video. You know, we did one while I was in prep. We've done one transversing out into my reverse diet. As I'm now starting to progress into my off season, we will do another video soon. So if you want information on that, the point we're making is I've got my own channel, and if you want to, and if you also want the perspective of life as an immigrant, Pete's got his own channel as well.
Yeah. Long story short, obviously, like, if you want more information in regards to fitness, bodybuilding, supplements, because Ed talks a lot about informational stuff on his videos. So, and I guess probably as the more ideas people even show in this questions.
Yeah, we might use some of those ideas on our own channels.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, there's a video on your channel where you came in to buy some supplements and we had a good chat.
And you explained a lot about the basic supplements. So there is if you want to find out more about the basic supplements, you can also go on my channel. There is a video with Ed when he's explaining all information about creatine, pre-workouts,
just the
basic
sort-
of protein, basic supplements, really.
Which helps you if you're a newbie or not even a newbie, you just want to know the basic stuff that people
It's
take.
not
Yeah.
even for newbie. To be honest, I had such a good response to this video. People who I not maybe hang out now, but I know them. They was texting me like, man, I was fucking waiting for this video, and I learned so much about this or that, or like it's not only for newbies. I think it's more about the people who just maybe not pro bodybuilder. It's not as deep.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But
Yeah, it's not aimed at
for the-
bodybuilders really. It was
for
just
the
aimed
people
at
who just
the
go into
general
the
gym
gym.
goer. Yeah,
Yeah.
just somebody who's just interested in fitness.
So it's definitely good watch. Definitely good watch. Yeah, I think. Is there anything you want to touch
I think
up
we've
on?
covered. I mean, I had a lot of questions, but as I said, a lot of them we've kind of covered just through general chat anyway.
Yeah.
And some of them are just like silly questions. Like I'm just not even going to entertain them. I mean, thank you for putting them to us anyway. I appreciate it, but yeah, they're not really in tie with what we're talking about. But I think now we've ticked all our boxes, dotted the i's and crossed the t's,
because,
as they say.
you probably realize that we got kind of a structure to the podcast, that we got.
But then we veer off.
Yeah, we got some specific topics we want to touch upon, but some of them we don't. We just don't have enough time. Some of them we just exaggerate and just going for half of the podcast about one topic, because for us it's all about to have fun. Okay, you have to understand that while we sit here, we're not doing that for money.
No.
We're just doing that because this is what we do.
Yeah,
what we do.
well, we kind of, I mean, prime example, this is Friday night, this is being filmed, we finish work, we're using the shop, we've both got families at home, but we're here filming this because it's what we do, it's what we enjoy.
Yeah.
And we'd rather do this than go down the pub and get drunk, because that's not our thing.
That's our way to
so this is our fun.
express our thoughts. And
We just shoot the shit, get our thoughts out, the same as when we go to the gym. That's our time just to do our thing.
Yeah,
same sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I think it's a good time to wrap up now.
Yes.
As we said, we are so pleased and so happy with the response to our first episode.
Very grateful.
We're very grateful, and obviously every single action that you've taken on our channel, which is like, subscribe, comment, anything, is a massive help to our channel. As you can see, we are relatively small channel, second episode, but it helps a lot. So if you don't mind, you can always go like, subscribe, comment, and give us ideas what you would like us to touch up on. And you can also add if you would like to see that from the perspective of a migrant who came to the UK, for example, or from the perspective of a guy who just going to the gym and doing his workout, or you can have a perspective from the proper British person, or from the perspective of a bodybuilder, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because we're going to both look at it from two different views.
Yeah.
You're looking at it as somebody who, I mean, we both enjoy what we do.
Oh, yeah, of
but
course.
You bodybuild as
for
just
fun.
Just for
fun.
fun.
Let's say.
Yeah, and I do it for fun, but obviously I compete, and also it's my job as a coach.
Yeah.
So I look at it from a slightly
You
different...
don't have fun.
Yeah, I look at it as a slightly different, for a different pair of glasses, but ultimately we both do it because we enjoy it.
Yeah. I think it's nice to give people perspective of this end of spectrum, because as you said, you're just looking through the completely different lens on things.
Yeah.
And it's same with me. So yeah, I think that was fun.
Yeah. So thank you for watching. See you on the next one. As Pete said, don't forget to comment. If you do like it, please give us a like to let us know. Big love.
See you soon.
See you next time.